I must have bought about 10,000 ping pong balls altogether, and I probably used about 6,000 or 7,000 so far.
And then everything becomes ping pong balls. You start dreaming about it, and you wear the end of your fingers away.
In a way, the show falls into two parts. One are these new pieces I'm doing based on chaotic form which come from natural eroded boulders, which is about as mathematically chaotic as you can get, and combining that with very ordered forms, with spherical forms, to create a kind of rhythmic pattern over the surface, which is in some places very ordered and in some places very chaotic. The other part of the show will be these big painted canvases, which will go from ceiling to floor, down the wall 2 meters high and then 2 meters out onto the ground. So if you imagine, this part of it will be up the wall, and then on the ground will be a boulder also painted with the same kind of patterns. And I think really what I'm interested in with this is a very simple idea of how dots become lines, which could almost be thought of as notes. So in a sense, it's like a visual version of something like improvised jazz, if you like. The actual process of making these things started off really with me playing about with ping pong balls and initially sticking them together to create clusters. I then started wondering what it would be like if I actually applied these ping pong balls to a random undulating surface. I decided to make fiberglass casts from boulders, which seems a slightly odd thing to do, but of course it's impossible to make a random shape. Sticking the balls onto that fiberglass, it would become a series of thousands of little pimples in different sorts of alignments. These pieces that I'm making for the show will be cast in bronze and probably be painted or powder coated because I want them to be white. The way in which you get this wonderful tonal range with something that's white, you get from the very, very bright highlights on the top to really quite a deep shadow, which obviously reveals the rhythms of these little spheres fitting together. Casting is not the main way in which I've worked in the past, so this is very different. And I think it's quite a departure and quite an adventure, and I'm feeling my way with it, really.